Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another video of Barbados Walker. This is a very different kind of episode, and today we're just chilling, we're just driving, and we're trying to get ourselves, I think, to Holetown. Maybe not Holetown, maybe we'll pass Holetown, but first we're at the Wildey Triangle. Those of you who have visited Barbados or who are currently living in Barbados, you notice this place, and this is where we're starting our video. Our goal is to get from here to Holetown. How are we going to do this? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's very simple. We will go to Bridgetown, then we will drive along the west coast of Barbados until we get to Holetown and maybe past Holetown. On the way, I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of things that I see on the road from the point of view of somebody who is living in Barbados, but who is not from Barbados. You see, I'm not originally from Barbados. I've been living here for a couple of years now. I know my way around, but because this place is so fascinating, I noticed that I was learning new things about it almost every day. When I walk out and I have an interaction with someone, I learn something new. When I go, I see something beautiful. I see a nice place that I like, or nice food, or the way people are behaving, or the way they're treating other people. It's so nice. And so I said to myself, what if I start documenting this? Just recording videos and putting it on YouTube from my own perspective. You see, there are so many people that do travel videos and they show things about the country, things that they're interested in. I saw a couple of Barbados videos and they show what they're interested in. Maybe they show the history or something like that. But I was thinking, if I was the one making this video, I would have probably put that thing in, because I found that thing so interesting, or I liked that place, or I liked this stuff. And I said, well, God made so many different human beings to have different points of view so that we can have a conversation about it. If your point of view is not the same as my point of view, and we're exactly the same, then we're basically clones. And so I said, I wonder how many people are seeing different kinds of things in Barbados or about Barbados, and they have all these different points of views that I don't know about and I'm not seeing, but I will never know unless I talk about my own point of view. And so I said, initially I was thinking, oh, I'm not an expert on Barbados. I haven't studied the culture and the history and the traditions and all of that. I shouldn't be making videos about it. But then I said, wait, if I make a video about it and I publish that video online, someone who knows better than me or someone who has a different point of view will actually comment on that video and tell me something I don't know. And so, the more I make videos about Barbados, the more I learn about Barbados from people visiting, from people who live here. Oh, this guy was so close. He nearly hit my mirror. Wow. Well, I hope he drives safely. Anyway, so people visiting, people who live here, and they'll tell me things that I never knew. That way, look at the genius move that I pulled. I'm calling myself a genius. Can you imagine? Well, that way, I don't need to spend 10, 20, 30 more years here in Barbados for me to learn more about the culture and about the people and about this amazing place. People would just tell me, multiple people would just tell me in the comment section of my videos. And last week was one of the first times I actually felt like that. And it really brought everything into perspective. You see, the first time that I posted, people were telling me about where they're from, what telling me the videos are nice and all of those things. And it was really nice to see that people were enjoying the work that I was doing, because I spend a lot of time to record the videos and then go back and try to edit it and upload it and make sure that I do all the things for the YouTube algorithm to get it to people, and all of that takes some time and effort. But it was nice to see that people were appreciating it. But from last week, I started seeing people leaving like long sentences and paragraphs and telling me more things that I didn't know. And I enjoy that. So all this long talk to say, if you're thinking about leaving a comment on the video and you're thinking, oh, who am I? My opinion doesn't mean anything. Or maybe he already knows that, I mean, his channel is called Barbados Walker, so he probably knows everything about Barbados or everywhere about Barbados. Or, you know, you're thinking something. Any reason you want to justify why you're not going to leave a comment, I'm here to tell you that I want to see your comments. I am not, the name of the channel is not the Barbados Experts. I'm not the Barbados expert. I'm not the Barbados historian. I'm not the Barbados trivia expert, right? I am simply the Barbados walker. My job is to move around Barbados. Well, I say my job as if somebody employed me, yeah? But my goal is to move around Barbados and to see nice things, to learn new things. And when I see something, I say, ooh, I think they're going to like this. I make a video on it. Like now, there are some of the people who want to travel into Barbados. And one of the questions that they have is, well, how are they going to get transportation? How do they move around Barbados? And I think I need to make a video about the transport system, because Barbados is one of the places that I believe has a very unique transport system. Where I come from, you generally go to the street and you see a bus going in the direction that you want to go, and you enter the bus and it takes you where you want to go. In Barbados, you have three kinds of buses. You have the ZR buses, you have the long blue buses, the government buses, and you have the yellow buses. Some people call them the reggae buses, or just the yellow buses. I don't know if they have another name. And the ZR buses have numbers. Like you see, there's a ZR bus just coming now and it has the number 8 on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. And that's a different system from the blue government buses, which is a different, sort of similar system with the okay, we have a green light. Good. Sort of a similar system with the yellow buses. Okay, let's stay on this lane so that we'll be on the outside. So if you want to get around Barbados, you need to know where the bus you're entering is going, because you might be on the street and the buses are all going more or less in the same direction, but one has a number 8 on it, one has a number 10 on it, one has a number 11 on it, and they're not all going to take you to the same place. So when foreigners come, or visitors or tourists or whatever, they come, that is one of the things that they struggle with. I remember when I first came into Barbados, and that another thing that was really hard for me to figure out was the accent. I came with someone else and we were trying to get to Sheraton, because before we came here we learned about the Sheraton Mall and how it's a big mall, and I've made a video on that. You guys can go check it out. It's a really nice place. So that was one of the first places that we wanted to go, and we asked the policeman, it's like, can you give us a direction? And he was talking like he was making sentences, but we couldn't understand anything that he was saying, and we were just nodding like, yeah, yeah. And then he looked at us and he said, you understand? And we were like, no, we don't understand anything. And then he just told us number 10, and we were like, huh? He said, number 10 there, and he pointed. Then we went to where he was. We just went in the direction that he was pointing. We ended up at a bus stop. We saw different ZR buses, and then we noticed that they had numbers on them, and one of them was number 10. And we said, oh, that's what he meant by number. And we just entered the number 10, and we told the guy, we're stopping at Sheraton, we don't know where it is, so when you get there, just stop us. The driver was very nice, and then he took us there. When we reached Sheraton, he stopped, and that was how we got to Sheraton. So the bus system is something that confuses a lot of people, and I think it's very, very good. It would be very good if I make a video about that. But then again, it could just be me and a few people that I've seen. If you want me to make a video explaining at least the popular buses, like the places tourists like to go to and which buses go there. Obviously, if I make a video about the entire bus numbers and systems and where they all go to, that may be a very long video. But if you wanted, I could make it. Just let me know in the comment section. Another way that you can get around Barbados very easily if you're coming from outside is to get the Pickup Barbados app. Pickup Barbados, I think it's called Pickup Caribbean now, or it's still Pickup Barbados, I don't know. But the Pickup app, I'll just call it the Pickup app now. This guy really wants to get in there. Okay, I guess he's in a hurry, but what kind of driving is that? Lord have mercy. Anyway, the Pickup app is like Uber or Lyft or Bolt, or whatever app you're used to from your country, and it's our own version of taxi app here. And before you go to any place on the Pickup app, you're going to see, before you go to anywhere on the Pickup app, you're going to see the price, how much it's going to be, how much it's going to cost, and all of those things. And you can then decide whether you want to continue. So you get like an estimate of how much you're going to pay, to the nearest, I would say $5 to $10 Bayesian dollars. Yeah, I don't think it has ever exceeded, like if they tell you it's going to be anywhere from $70 to $80, the highest you will ever pay for that is maybe like $88 or something like that. The estimate is pretty accurate. So all you need to do is to insert the location of where you want to go. You can type it. Their map is really nice. You type where you want to go, you put it there, and then it's going to get you a ride. That is another way that you can go around easily. However, even though it's quite convenient, a couple of things you should know. It's not going to be similar to the price of just getting into a bus, obviously, right? So you're not going to have similar prices as if you go and you get a bus and you enter the bus to just go in the same direction again. One advantage you have with the Pickup app is that it comes to wherever you are, picks you up from there, and takes you to your final destination. So you don't have to do like connecting buses or something like that. You don't have to get on this bus, go to this bus stop or station, and then get on the next bus or something like that. You don't have to do all of that. You can just go to your final destination. So that's one thing I like about it. Another thing I don't like about it is the price. So as at the time of making this video, to enter a bus from anywhere to anywhere, as long as it's one stop, is about $3.50. So in US, that is $1.75. So if you enter a bus from Speedstown all the way down to Bridgetown, it will be $3.50. If you enter from Holetown to Bridgetown, it will be $3.50. If you enter from, I believe if you enter from Bridgetown to Bridgetown, it will be $3.50. It's nice to know that, well, this is the price I'm paying, and Oh, water. What's going on here? Okay, it's nice to know that this is the price I'm paying before you leave the house, and you can go as far as you want with that price. With the pickup Barbados, however, you can't predict how much you're going to spend beforehand. Because if you go out, let's say you went out to a destination and it was $70 to get there, when you're coming back, there may be fewer rides, or it might be peak hours or whatever, and the prices fluctuate a lot. So that's something I don't like. There is no distance. You can't say, well, from Bridgetown to Spacetown is going to be $50 or $70, and so you plan for that. No, it can be $50, it can be $70, it can be whatever it is at that time, right? The advantage, however, is that you will know beforehand before you enter the ride. So it's not like you're thinking it's $50 and when you get there the guy is going to tell you like $90. No, you will know beforehand what range it will be, plus or minus 5 or 10. All right, so that's an advantage. So you can enter with bus, whether you're using ZR bus or the government long electric blue buses or the yellow buses. You can get pickup Barbados, or you can rent. My experience with renting, however, because of how new my license is, I've been driving with the Barbados license for just about a year and some months. But most rental companies, if not all, I'm very tempted to say all, but I haven't literally messaged every single one of them, so I can't say all. But most rental companies are going to tell you that they need you to have your license for at least 2 years, right? So if for one reason or the other your license is less than 2 years, maybe I don't know the circumstances, but whatever the case is, many people like that, then you can't rent from them. And the only way you will be able to drive a rented car is maybe if you know the individual, like the person is your friend, he knows you, he trusts you, he's giving you his car personally on a personal level to rent from him. Maybe on that level, yeah. But most of the businesses will want at least 2 years license, which is reasonable. I'm not saying it's unreasonable, but it's a lot of people don't expect it, and then they come to Barbados and they see it and they're surprised, because it's not something that is very common in many countries. Usually if you have a license and you have the money to pay, that's it. But someone was telling me that it's probably because of the insurance. Someone else told me that it's probably a Barbados law thing. I've also heard that people have had very bad experiences with new drivers. Somebody just gets his license this week. He wants to test out his license. He's feeling fly. He rents a car with a couple of his friends and he goes and crashes it. So the companies are scared. So I don't know whether it is the companies are scared, the insurance companies demand it, the government law demands it. I don't know why, but most of the rental companies in Barbados will need at least 2 years license. I saw one company that I think was quite funny in a ridiculous way, and it was demanding 5 years license. I was like, do people even rent from this? Like, do they have any customers at all? But I mean, to each their own, right? So it's not an unreasonable request. It's just not very common in many places, and so when people see it, they don't understand it. Okay, this is something else that I wanted to, it's unrelated to Barbados one, but it's still related to this topic. If you have children and they turn 16, for the love of all that is good, get them their driver's license. And if you're a grown man or a grown woman and you don't have your license, please get your driver's license and get your international passport. Here's the reason I'm saying this. Most people, and this is not abnormal, again, this is very normal. Most people wait for when there is some form of stability in their lives, where they're at least financially stable, before they start thinking about all these other quote-unquote extra stuff. Like, you're probably thinking, I'm 25, I ain't got no money for no car, what do I need a license for? I will probably have a car when my job is stable or something like that. Yellow bus was literally 2 inches from this car. This video would have gone from it would have gone from a normal drive to Holetown. Okay, let's let this guy pass. To video evidence for the insurance company. That is what this video would have been. But that's okay. Alright, so what was I saying? So you're probably thinking, I need to get my money up first before I get this stuff. Many of these things are not that expensive. If you save for them, you can get them. But it saves you from weird and awkward conversations in the future. For example, when I was trying to rent a car, so this car is not rented, this car is a friend of mine's. When I was trying to rent a car, you send your driver's license to people and they look at your age. You're 30 years old. I'm currently 30 years old. My birthday was in March 27th. So 30 years old. So they look at you, this thing, you're 30 years old, but your driver's license is less than 2 years old. What happened? And in my own case, it's very interesting because I started learning how to drive before I was even like 18 years old. I started learning very young, following my brother when they were doing driver's license training, learning some of the things. When I was old enough to start learning officially, I started driving, like learning driving. So by the time I was ready to get my license, like old enough to take the test and pass and get my license, I practically knew how to drive because I had been looking at other people driving. When I was old enough to actually officially start learning how to drive, I already knew like the theoretical basics. I just needed a little bit of practice, and we had a car at home, so I was driving. It was easy. But then I had to travel. So I traveled out of my country, went to a different country to med school, and then I started doing medicine. So getting a license wasn't at the top of my mind. It was like, I have this exam, I have these lectures, I have this test coming up, blah, 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 blah. I left med school and I started doing content creation, social media, website design, and all of this kind of stuff. So at that time, my mind was, oh, I need to improve my skill. I need to improve what I'm doing and learn about this and learn about that, get clients, make money, that kind of stuff. After that, I needed to travel. So I came to Barbados. I'm compressing like close to 9 years of history in one short story. So it seems like everything is fast. But I came to Barbados. Okay, Barbados, I need to settle down, maybe find a place to live. I'm going to be here for a while. So let me get used to the place, sort out my documents, like get my ID card, get all of those stuff. And then I realized that, well, Barbados isn't a small island. You can drive around it in a short amount of time. I mean, I actually have a video where we drove around the entire Barbados. But you can drive around Barbados, but it's big. If you're going to walk or you're going to use public transport, it's big. So I think it would be best if I have a car to drive around, even if it's to rent or to whatever, just to drive around for times when I need, like if I'm doing a lot of stuff during this weekend and I don't want to depend on public transport, I just want to be able to stand up and go, I need a car. And then I said, okay, let's get the license. How much is it? Is this for lessons and this for the test? And then you get a teacher and you go and do the practical exam and all of those things. I said, okay. Did everything, got my license, then realized that, well, you can't rent a car because you're a 30-year-old man who was doing everything else except getting a simple plastic card. So, if you have children, don't let them be like me. Don't let them wait till they're 28 to start getting the driver's license or whenever, right? Let them get it when they're young. They may not need it because you drive them everywhere or because they enter public transport or whatever. But when they need it, it's there. There are many times when there are some transactions that you want to do. Maybe if you go to, I think MoneyGram or Western Union used to do something like that, where if you want to get money from someone, they'll say you need 2 forms of ID. And for the longest time, I was using student ID card and international passport. That is crazy, right? That's just crazy. You can just use your national ID and your driver's license. Like, think about it. Especially now that I'm schooling online, right? I'm currently doing my master's degree online. And I don't have a physical ID card. So I can't do the student ID card. And every time you go somewhere, you don't want to carry your international passport. Because that is a very important document that you use to fly around, right? And it's good if you're living in a country, you have the local ID cards, the national ID, the driver's license. It's a good thing, especially if you're a citizen. If you're a citizen of Barbados, you can just get it. Yes, it's quite pricey if you weren't expecting that price, yeah, but you can save for it, right? Save for it, read for it, write the test, do the practical driving test, and before the end of this year, you have your driver's license. Okay, that's just a crazy rant about driver's license, but it's similar with international passport. There was a case of this is a once in a million opportunity, but I don't know, it could happen to anyone. But there was a case of somebody who was in Nigeria, and she had this friend that she was talking with outside of Nigeria, and then he started telling her about, oh, you can come outside and you can school. There's this university that's offering scholarships and everything, and you can just apply and you can get it. And so she said, okay, I'll apply, I'll get it. She applied, she was good, she was qualified, everything. She got the scholarship. She was supposed to start, because she learned about it late, she was supposed to start her class the next month, right? So normally you would have a lot of time, but because she heard about the whole thing late, she did the thing late, but she still got in. Start classes next month, and that's the only way you have the scholarship. But she did not have an international passport. So she now went to go and start doing the international passport. Unfortunately for her, it was going to take like several weeks for them to process it and get it to her. And that was how she lost that opportunity. To get it, you have to reapply again, and then you have to start explaining why you got it the first time and you weren't prepared for it and stuff like that, right? So many times there's an opportunity. I mean, we've seen all these YouTube videos where somebody is going to come and say, oh, we're going to Paris, but you don't have an international passport. So you're the one friend in the friend group that is not going to Paris on Christmas because you didn't get your international passport. So the moral of this story is, and we're at Holetown, by the way, to our right is Massey stores, but we're going to keep driving. Okay, the moral of this story is, even if you're not flying anywhere, You were born in Barbados, you were raised in Barbados, you live in Barbados, you love Barbados, you cannot do without Barbados. Barbados is paradise, is an island. Yes, but get your international passport. It will not kill you to have the document. And once you have it, you have it. All you have to do is renew it when it expires. And these things don't expire like milk or something. They take 10 years to expire, or 5 years, right? Your passport is valid for at least 5 years or 10 years, depending on what kind of passport you got, the country that it was issued in. But you get the point I'm making, and you renew it when it expires. And it's doable. All right? Get your driver's license, get your passport. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.